All right, so describe what a naturalistic observation is. What are advantages and disadvantages of a naturalistic observation? How about I give you 2 more minutes? 2 more minutes. I just started the video for the remote students. So give them some time. How long did it take you to braid your hair, Campbell?
Like
a minute, really? Oh, looks nice. Yeah. All righty. So what is a naturalistic observation? What is that? What is that? What do you think? What do we got? What do we got? Sarah, go ahead.
I'd say like observing somebody's behaviors or mannerisms, just like taking a mental note of what they're doing, kind of like analyzing what they're doing, figuring out why they're doing it.
Yeah, good. Good job. Good job. So we're going to talk about the 4 goals of Psych, and that's the first step, which we'll discuss a little bit later here. But yeah, naturalistic observation, you're studying someone in their natural state, okay? Would studying someone in this classroom right now be studying someone in their naturalistic, like a naturalistic observation? Would that fall under that? Yes? Would it? Are you following a norm or a moral right now?
When you're telling us.
Yeah, okay. There you go. All right, good. What do you act differently in school than what you would maybe at home by yourself?
I feel like you could do different like analyses of like, because that's like a different element of somebody's life.
Okay. All right.
I thought you were hinting at like if you're like it's like being told you're on camera or something.
Yeah.
You know someone's observing you, you might act different potentially.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Yeah. If you know someone's watching you, you're going to act a lot different. Yeah. Yeah, good. Good job. And I know like with school, depending what you're doing, there might be some norms that you try to follow or some moral values, right, that you try to follow when you're out in public so that you don't look a little bit like a weirdo or doing anything different, right? But at home, right, in your naturalistic state, I guess you could say, your natural state, you might do things a little bit differently, right? You might act a certain way that to many, what the heck's he doing? Right, Z? I'm just kidding. I don't want to know what you're doing. Right? Yeah, so, yeah, people act differently depending if they observation. What are some advantages? Let's start there. What are some advantages of a naturalistic observation? So let's say we're out in the park or something like that. We're just watching someone walk around the park, maybe feeding the birds or something. Who knows? What are some advantages to that? What do we think? What do we think? Michaela, what do you have for an advantage of a naturalistic observation? Okay, all right. So maybe some quirks that they have, right? Maybe it's something that they like to do. Okay, maybe hobbies, interests. Maybe it's a scheduled routine that they might have. Good. Campbell, what do you got?
I thought like they wouldn't be distracted, like trying to impress.
Okay, yeah, good job. So like you stated a little bit before, if you know you're being watched, if you know there's a camera on you or someone's watching you, you might act differently, right? You might act in a different manner. And some advantages to a naturalistic observation is that people are just going to do their interests, do their natural hobbies, right? Do the things that they do without thinking someone's watching them in their natural state. Okay, you're going to get a better study. You're going to get a better example of what these people actually do, maybe on their time off or maybe during an event. Okay, it's not. There's no confounding variables there, right? If that makes sense. Okay, good. What about disadvantages? What about disadvantages? Anna, what do you think?
I guess knowing that they're being watched, it'll clear the anger right away. And find that they'll do things differently, and they'll do them better, so that way nobody notices.
Okay. All right, good. Good job. Good job. What else? What else? What are some other disadvantages? Z, do you have anything?
The disadvantage is that if, say, you come up with a observation on how you think their background was, it would be completely wrong because they could do something else that is completely different.
Okay, good. Good job. So let's say you're doing a study, right? You have a hypothesis about something and you have to take some sort of evidence. You have to have some sort of information to back your findings, right? And if that person acts totally different from what you're looking for, your variables that you're looking for, then you're not going to have the results you need to try to push your study even more, right? Good. Good job. Sarah, do you have your hand up?
I'd say like one thing I kind of thought is you're trying to like, I don't want to say like create an analysis, but if you're trying to like piece together aspects of someone's life to come to conclusions about them or their personality, one thing that you can't get from like a naturalistic observation is like kind of verbal explanation that could definitely factor into it. Because you could say like they're doing this for this reason, but if they have like some sort of background that would influence that,
Okay.
you don't know, some of that stuff requires like being like actually told by them.
Good, good job. So you're talking more about like a controlled experiment than a controlled study where the variables are laid out, there's an objective for them to complete, and you're just taking note observations based on whatever objective you give them to complete, right?
I'm kind of saying like if you're trying to just like kind of what we did, like why do you think they do that?
Yeah.
That part of it could be like influenced if you like separately like things that maybe you could be getting wrong because you don't know certain things about them.
Oh,
Like
okay.
something you can't get from a naturalist.
That's true, right? You don't know anything about pre-existing conditions. You don't know anything about maybe information about that person that you might want to detail about before you take observations on. Good job. Yeah, especially like let's say someone has Tourette's and they're out like cursing around. It's like, what the heck's going on down here? This guy just flirting out language, obscene language. Yeah. Okay. Good job. Yeah. So with a naturalistic observation, it might skew your data, right? Let's say you're doing a research project. You're trying to find data on how people would react to, let's say, a certain thing. I'm not giving an example right now, but so with a naturalistic observation, they might be acting a different way. You might not be getting the results you need to continue your study. Okay, with a control experiment, you're setting out objectives. You maybe be giving a placebo. You might be giving out a treatment to someone and seeing how they react to it. Then you can take your information that you gather from your observations and you can conclude it. But with a naturalistic observation, it's a lot harder to do. You might not be finding the information you need to continue your study or to base your publications, right? Your research off of that. Okay. Good. Is there any questions on that? We good with the naturalistic observation? Awesome. Like I said before, controlled study, controlled experiment, controlled observation is something done maybe in a laboratory setting. Maybe something that's already set out for these people to complete, like let's say an objective. And then you can take your observations based on what they're doing and how they're reacting and you have a better, I guess, route for that person to complete to continue your research in the right direction, so that there won't be any confounding variables. There won't be any hiccups or interruptions in your study. Good job. All right, so I think you already got it. I posted it to the stream. Let's see, show. Okay, I posted the PowerPoint and the vocab for you right here. Okay, so the vocab, don't worry about it being due tomorrow or anything like that. I'll give you time each day to work on it in class. So how about I give you, I don't know, 4 or 5 minutes to work on some of this vocab right now. So I'd like you to complete the list, just describe it here. And then at the bottom, there's some names, some famous psychologists I'd like you to research as well. So make sure you don't miss out on these people here, okay? So that's the vocab for today. Usually I play a song, but since I'm recording, I don't want to get hit with copyright and the video not post. That happened already before, so I won't play any music. If you want to, you can bring pods or whatever. You can listen to music while you're working on some of this vocab. Does that work? All right, there you go. So I'll give you like 2 to 3 minutes to work on some vocab right now. So then you don't have to take it home for homework. That's nice, right?
So we like getting the definitions from the slides.
Yeah. So look for them in the slides. That's why I posted the PowerPoint for you and to help you through discussion and when I'm presenting information. But yeah, all the information, all the terms that I get for a quiz or assessment will be right from the slides. All right, I think that's pretty good. So I'd like you guys to open your textbooks now, which is online under General Information on Classroom page. You go to Textbook, okay, go to the PDF, and I'd like you to read on page 9, which I believe that would be, what, 17 then? No. That is right here, 21 on the PDF. So start at Overview of Psychology. I'd like you to read Overview of Psychology. Okay, read the goals of psychology. That's what we're going to be talking about today. And then finish up on 12. We just stop before we get to the scientific basis of psychology. Okay? So overview of psych. Okay, you don't have to do this test here. We're just going to skip that. Okay, read the goals of psych. That's important for today. And then finish up right here. Okay, so just stop before you get the scientific basis of psychology. There you go. I'll give you some time to read that, and we'll discuss it. We'll go over it then. All right, so I want to give you some time to work on the activity then. So, real quick, I want to go over some of the slides here with you, some of the information. I want to talk about what is psychology, okay, why it's useful, what's the need for it, and then I want to get involved a little bit on the goals of psychology that you just read about. So, real quick, what is psychology? What is it? What is psychology? What is psychology? Z, what is it, man?
The scientific study of behavior and mental processes.
Yeah, good job. Good job. So it's a scientific study of behavior and mental processes, right? So we're going to talk about a lot of different perspectives of how to answer behavior, why people act the way they do. Maybe it's a chemical imbalance within their body. Maybe it's something that they've been dealing with for a long period of time, a traumatizing event, an emotional behavior. Maybe it's something that has to do with the way they developed over time. Who knows, right? There's a lot of different aspects of how we can understand why people act the way they do. Maybe it's behavior that they can't control. We'll talk about some of these approaches and perspectives here soon. What do you guys think of that story about the elephant? What do you think of that? Campbell, what do you think?
I mean, I've heard it before.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Where did you hear it from? Where did you hear it before?
I don't remember.
No.
I've heard that.
Jeez, look at you. Can't throw a curveball by you here. Just kidding. Sarah, what do you think?
In terms of like explaining, I kind of sense that like what they were trying to do is say that basically people like combining observations is how you learn more about something. So
Yeah.
they each had known whatever, but they would combined all their information and they would have understood it better. And that's I think they're trying to say about like observations in general.
Good job. Good job. So observations, yeah. So with the elephant, the three blind men that came up to it, they are all at different parts and they're describing what they felt on the elephant. And it's the same thing with psychology, right? Not one approach, not one perspective can be used to try to predict the behavior. Yeah, one might be better than the other, but let's apply all of them together. Let's try to understand fully what's wrong with someone. Let's try to predict the behavior of someone by using all these approaches that we're going to talk about here today. So, like I said before, psychology is just really understanding behavior and mental processing. Okay, how people act or why people act the way they do. What's preventing or what's starting this action? What's maybe preventing this behavior from being appealed or present to people, right? There's a lot of mental processing too of understanding why these people act the way they do, right? Is it a certain experience they had in their childhood? No one knows, right? No one knows. But we're going to learn about some of these approaches and perspectives within this unit in Chapter 1 of how to detail and understand, again, why people do the things they do. And we're going to talk a little bit about the history of psychology, some ideas and perspectives, depending on culture too. Throughout the world where it's been used for thousands of years, which psychology has only really gained ground through the mid-1900s. Okay, when more data information is being presented, especially now with the way we can understand the body, we can study the brain a little bit more with more advanced technology that we have. All right, so the biggest thing with psychology I want you to know and remember is nature versus nurture. Okay, what is nature versus nurture? What does that mean? What is nature versus nurture? What do we think? What is nature versus nurture? What do you think, Campbell?
Nature is kind of like just like what's going to happen to you. It's just like natural, whereas nurture is like your experiences.
Good.
What happens to you.
Good job. Good job. So nature, right, is almost instinctive behaviors, right? We're born with these skills, these different types of personality traits, right? Where we don't have to learn these abilities. It's just we're born with it. And to some extent, that's true, right? I'm sure we all know of someone who plays a sport and is just a natural at it, right? They can throw a football or a baseball, or they can shoot a basketball, spike a volleyball, right, Camel? You play volleyball. Yeah, spiking a volleyball down. In some cases, it's just hard to explain. They might not have ever had practice with it, but they're so good at it. Do you have an example of that, Camel? Or are you a natural born athlete?
No.
No.
I know people that are.
Yeah. I know with wrestling especially, you can know all the technique, you can know all the moves, but there's always that one guy, I'll just throw you right to your back and pin you out of nowhere. It's like, what the heck? That doesn't even make any sense. Or boxers, right? You can have all the ability or all the technique and all the moves, but one punch can end you right there. And you're just born with that instinctive ability of just throwing a haymaker out of nowhere. And then there's nurture, right? There's nurture where we have to learn and understand with the experiences and stimulus around us, right? How we react to certain situations, how we remember these experiences and apply them to our everyday life, right? And how do we apply them to advance and really just build a knowledge of a certain situation to help us in our everyday aspects, right? So nature versus nurture, make sure you remember that. For some psychologists, instincts is really what takes hold, right? With evolutionary psychology, we'll talk a little bit about that. It's just something we're born with. We know instinctively what to do in certain situations and experiences. This fight or flight, which we'll talk a little bit more about when we get to humanistic psychology and some developmental psychology. And then nurture, right? How we understand certain situations and we apply it through time and in certain experiences. It's like practice, right? We got to practice to be better. Okay, so real quick, four main goals. The first goal I want you to know, description, all right? So description is really just gathering this information. We're making observable techniques. We're making observable we're taking observations and applying it to what we already know. Okay, so it might be studying someone. It might be studying something. Okay, let's say we're trying to spike a ball in volleyball, right? We need to watch our coach perform that task, and we're making the observations of where each body motion is going and how we move our body in a certain way. It might be studying in a book, right, of how we're trying to observe these events and try to practice it. So description is just making observations. We're jotting down, we're making the observations so that we can maybe apply it later. Explanation is to seek and explain why people behave the way they do. All right, so this is where we see hypothesis and theory take place. All right, so hypothesis is what? What is a hypothesis? What is that? Z, go ahead. An educated guess. Good job. Educated guess. So you need to start off with a hypothesis to see, how people might act the way they do, or do a certain thing, right? Or perform a task the way they do. So hypothesis, educated guess, and then finally, what's a theory? What is a theory? What is a theory? Hannah, what's a theory? What is a theory?
Like something especially like it's based on what the observation was.
Okay. All right. Not bad. Yeah. So let's say what? Go ahead, Sarah.
I was just saying it's like putting a bunch of findings together that support one hypothesis or idea. It's like something that's essentially like proven, like with lots of research.
Good job. And experiments, right? Yeah, so you're trying to explain a certain situation, event through research and information that you gained through experiments. You applied that hypothesis to a test or through research, and you can prove that as a theory. Good job. So again, description, observable events, explanation, you're trying to explain how people behave the way they do. You first need to start with a hypothesis, and you move to a theory after research, after experiment, after going through the scientific method, which we'll talk more about tomorrow. And then prediction, right? Predict future behaviors. So after we go through this scientific method, after we go through the research, how can we try to predict behavior in the future? So if we give someone a treatment, if we try to help someone out with, some sort of instruction, okay, how can we try to predict the future or behaviors that this person might have depending on, what we observed, how we try to solve a certain issue through the explanation. Does that make sense, guys? Okay. And then finally, influence. All right, how we influence behavior in helpful ways. So this is applied sciences. This is how we apply our research, our study, and try to benefit a behavior or someone out through maybe something that they're going through. Okay, so this is where we see applied psychology being used. We're using those techniques, we're using those strategies, we're using the research that we gained and applying it to try to help a behavior out. Okay, so 4 main goals, make sure you remember that. That's all I got for today. I have an activity that I'd like you to work on that just puts these 4 main goals in perspective, where you will come up with an idea, or come up with a scenario that you're going to use these 4 goals to try to help someone out. All right, so I'll describe that here now. But are we all good on the 4 behavior or the 4 goals? We good? Okay, good. All right, so the activity, just posted it. Let's see where we're at. Oh, I didn't post it yet. There it is. I'll post it now. All right, so this is due tomorrow. 4 goals of psych. So imagine that you are a psychologist and a patient has arrived at your office to discuss a problem. So create your own problems such as stress, shyness, phobia. Right, a phobia is like a fear of something. Relationship problem. Uh-oh. Hopefully you don't have any relationship problems. You guys ever see The Office? Relationships. We ain't know what to talk about stinking relationships. Part is so funny. And any other problem you want to choose. All right, whatever you want to do. So using the 4 goals of psych, outline a possible plan to help that patient. You must use, or your plan must use all the 4 goals, meet all the 4 goals. So use a space below to outline it. So describe it, right? We need description. We need explanation. Okay, we need our prediction and our influence. You guys know what we're doing? Okay, get working on it. You have about, what, 5 minutes? 4 minutes?